This is a bit of a historical hot take, but in the last few years, I think as an atheist, it's becoming really hard to not treat the Bible as an even better historical source than the more secular sources that we have out there. For example, take a look at the Code of Hammurabi. Clearly an awesome legal code from the Babylonian period. It tells us, an eye for an eye. But it's very dry. A lot of the other documents are like, I came, I conquered this land, and I enslaved the nation. Meanwhile, the people in those areas of the time had their own historical sources that they were writing, but are now treated like mythology. For example, take a look at the Romans. Their founding myth is that they were descended from a group of people that ran away from the modern region of Turkey. What we've found in the last few years archaeologically is that the Etruscans, the people north of Italy, that were a part of the group of nations that later became the Romans, and often treated as indigenous Italians or indigenous Europeans, probably actually came from Turkey. We've actually found written inscriptions in their language from the Greek island of Lemnos next to Turkey. And same thing with the Bible. We've recently found that all the Levis, so these are Jews with the last name Levi or something related like Levin, who the Bible says are all descended from one guy, Aaron. They all share a genetic common ancestor from around that time. At the same time, Egyptian sources are talking about a group of people called the Cherubim that came in and out of Egypt. And Cherubim sounds very similar to Hebrews, which is what the Jews also called themselves back at that time, which somewhat aligns with the biblical story of the Jews being enslaved in Egypt and then leaving. And that is because all these religious sources people believed as fact. They're the oral traditions of people, but that have involved magic just because these people believed in magic. And so there's no better way of actually looking at and learning about the history of a certain group of people and learning about their perspectives and what they actually experienced than treating their mythology as history.